Well, as you can see, my Cyclosternum species McCullough molted, and now that it's out of the way of the water dish while it was molting, I can now give it some water. Looking good. Alright, and the molt's all the way over there in the corner. Alright, let's give this one a drink. Looks like we have a successful molt. Finally, the Aphonopelma marxi, the Grand Canyon Black molted. Looking great. There's the molt and there's the uneaten Mr. Cricket. Very cool. Already has more hydration, so that's good. Alright, we'll let this one harden up. Alright guys, thought I'd go ahead and do a little rehousing video as well. As we speak, my Triniopelma sazame is molting on its back, so that is awesome. But we are going to rehouse the Chilobrachys fimbriatus. And size-wise, the enclosure really isn't that much bigger. But, you know, the shape is different. And I really prefer this because of the way it opens and closes so easily. So, because these guys like to web and burrow, I gave it plenty of substrate that I patted in real well. It's damp. And that way it can manipulate it really well and create some cool tunnels and all that. In fact, you know what? I'm actually going to add a little more substrate. Because I don't think that's quite enough. I think it's close. But keep in mind, this is not a big spider. This one's only about a 2-incher. So let me go ahead and spray that down. I add water to my sprayer here. And I have a catch cup handy because these guys are really fast. I don't know why this sprayer isn't working. But you know, you get what you pay for. I got this at the Dollar Tree. Okay, there we go. Don't have to wet it too much. Just enough to where it can manipulate the substrate easier. These guys do like to burrow and make cool web tunnels. So there's that. And as you can see, well, let me open this up. You can see the neat web tunnels it's made. And the only thing is, it likes to bury its water dish. And there's the spider right there. Raring to go, I see. So, I'm gonna go ahead and start dislodging all of this webbing. So we'll have something to work with. Here. This is an old world tarantula, so venom is potent. And with Chilobrachys, I've seen them even at this young age throw up threat postures. So I'm not even gonna get my fingers close to this when I'm cleaning the water dish. And even though it'll probably bury it again. In fact, I might just stick it in the middle because it'll probably go all around the substrate. There we go. And get my paintbrush. Let's see if I can find the... Definitely have to get my catch cup handy because these guys are really quick. And I'm just going to leave it to the spider to make its own burrow. Go ahead and get the... Whoa, okay. Let me rephrase that. I'm not going to willingly handle this spider. But keep in mind, folks, that if you keep tarantulas, at least once you're probably going to have one escape onto your person. And that's just the way it goes. And yeah, this one just ran up all over my arms. Come on. I know. No, 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 no. You get back in there. I know you don't have your holes to hide in, but you can make them. Well, I'm sorry you didn't get to see that. It probably would have actually been entertaining to you. But, yeah. There. Oh, man. And here's what's left of the... Now, I have to vacuum more. I'm always having a vacuum in this room. And then I'll just dump substrate on it again. Alright, let's move on to a different rehouse. Well, before we move on to the different rehouse, let's just take another look at this Chilobrachys fimbriatus, because you know how they are. You might see them poke their front legs out of their little holes, but that's about the extent of it once they get their burrows made. So feast your eyes and enjoy this one while you can. But let me see. I'm testing fate here by doing this, but I want you to see the abdomen. There. There we go. Look at that. Don't you just love how the abdomen... Well, there he goes again. Now look. Come on. Now this is a risk. I am taking a risk here. I could get bitten. Because, like I said, Chilobrachys are known for throwing up threat postures, even as juvies and slings and all that. But I can tell that this one is more interested in running than biting, which is why I'm willing to risk it. So folks, it's just take your own risk. I don't recommend what I just did. I know my spiders, let's put it that way. And yes, they can be unpredictable, but I could just read the body language. It was just in a runny mood. It wanted to hide. It wasn't standing its ground or being territorial. So, there you go. And I hope you enjoyed the view. Alright, we'll move on. Alright, next up, we're going to rehouse my Phonopelma chalcodes. The Desert Blonde, or Arizona Blonde. Now this one is docile, so I'm not going to mind handling it. See, it just wants to run. It's not bitey. So I'm just going to kind of scoop it up here into its new home. Or it could crawl on me just like the Chilobrachys did. There you go. Look, I even got you a new hide. Get in there. Come on. I know. There. I got you a hide. And got your water dish and your old plant. So you can enjoy your hide now. How about that? And your water dish. That's your old water dish. Alright. They like it on the drier side, but again, I just gave it a little bit of a spray just to kind of settle it down a little bit. But that's all. Alright, let's move on to a different rehouse. Alright guys, very similar setup to the Chilobrachys fimbriatus. We're going to rehouse the Chilobrachys king kraken. The substrate is on the damp side. They actually do prefer it on the damp side, and then plus it just helps them to be able to create their burrows easier when the substrate's on the damp side. And I just got a little water dish. They don't need a cave because they'll, trust me, they actually do. I mean, you can give them one, but they really are perfectly happy just digging their own burrows. So, but yeah, I mean, if you want to add a little decor, like it, just put a little leaf in there, you know, that can aid them in their little burrows, but it's not that necessary. But again, I do have a catch cup ready. Hopefully this one won't be as adventurous as the fimbriatus was. But let's see here. It might be webbed up in here. Let's see. Ah, yes, there it is, right there. Right there. And in fact, oh, sorry. And indeed, it is being adventurous, just like the fimbriatus, and wants to crawl on me. I tell you, they must really like me. I know. There. Now you stay. And there he is. Chilobrachys king kraken. I probably am mispronouncing that, but That's what it looks like to me. But, yep, that one wasn't too bad. So hopefully we'll see some neat webbing later on once it gets settled in. Alright, let's move on. Next up, I'm going to be rehousing my Brachypelma classy, the Mexican pink. And they like it on the dry side, so it is dry, except for the water dish I put in there. So this is just a little baby, so this is a smaller enclosure than the others that we've done already. Here we go. Simple as that. And you can use this little flower thing as a little hide if it wants to. There we go. Alright, simple. Alright, let's move on. And next up we're going to rehouse my Lasiodora parahabana. Maybe a large enclosure for it, but these guys grow pretty quick. And they get huge, so I figure, well, I'll go and get a little bit larger enclosure. And it's got a little hide, so if it feels doesn't feel secure or whatever being in a larger enclosure, it can always hide in its hide. So here we go. Very runny, skittish sling here. Salmon pink bird eater is the common name. Yeah, that's thunder in the background. Gonna have some thunderstorms tonight in Tennessee. There you go. Let's get you down a little bit more because I don't want to squish your legs. I got you a water dish. There we go. Simple as that. Alright, let's move on. Alright guys, next up I'm going to rehouse my Polynobius muticus, the king baboon. This one just doesn't seem happy in this enclosure, probably because the substrate is too loose and dry. Although they do like it on the drier side, but because it's so dry, the substrate is way too loose. And so it just doesn't seem happy. It's not really eating for me, even though the abdomen does look pretty healthy. So what I did was, you guys gave me some excellent advice on the substrate to use to help keep the substrate together really well, and to keep it from collapsing and to keep it hold in moisture a little bit better. However, I'm going to try it this way first before I take your advice on that particular substrate. What I did was I just made the substrate extra deep, extra damp, and I packed it in real tight, like really pushed hard. And I also went ahead and made 2 burrows on both corners there, so it could either use those or make its own. So we'll see how that goes, and if it doesn't go well, then I will look into that substrate that a couple of you guys recommended for me. So let me go ahead and remove that water dish. And of course this one tends to bury its water dish often. So I'm just going to kind of put it in the middle here, just like I've done with the Chelobrachys. Of course I'll have to keep an eye on the mold and fungus and all that stuff since it is tightly packed. But got plenty of holes too on all sides, so hopefully that'll help. Now since this is a king baboon, they are known for their defensiveness. Like the Chelobrachys, again, I'm going to have to try to be careful, but who knows, it may run all over me like the Chelobrachys did. But this one has shown signs of defensiveness, so this one I do have to be extra careful with. So let's go ahead and try to move him. I tell you what, I cannot win. Cannot win. That is why I have the catch cup handy. No, now look, I don't, okay, there, perfect. He was about to crawl up the paintbrush, and then he dropped in there. That's where I needed you to be anyway. Ooh, it's just a rumbling outside. Okay, so then here's our lid. Now please be happy with that and eat and be healthy, okay? I love these lids. Snap. There we go. Alright, let's move on to something else. And my Triniopelma sazerae finally molted. But because this is one I was going to rehouse, but because this one is just recently molted, I don't want to bother it because it's very fragile right now and already had gone through stress with the molting process. I don't want to add on to that stress, so and then the possible injury. So I'm just going to leave it be for now, and we'll do some more rehousings at a later time. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I think next up I got some shout outs to do and a care sheet. Alright, thanks guys.